Hi there, yet another video. I emigrated to Cambodia in November 2025, so I'm coming up to about 6 months or thereabouts. So I thought I'd give you a bit of an update about what I've learned. Right, so we'll start. I'm going to start with logistics, early days, what I found, and eventually I'll end up with my conclusions. So let's do the first bit. Let's do prior to the move, I'll call it. Okay, here we go. It starts off by getting one thing straight. I was born in the 1950s, and I thought the UK was probably the greatest country in the world to live in. I had a lovely childhood, lots of freedom, lots of space, lots of countryside, very few restrictions, and we knew where we stood. As I've grown older and wiser, well, perhaps not wiser, I don't know, less innocent anyway, I've realised that the UK is not what it was. If I was in the UK now, I would feel trapped. And I can honestly see that in a few years' time, I wouldn't even be able to move about 10 or 15 miles from my house if I had a house. And if I did so, I'd be traced or trackable. I don't want that. That's not the remit I was born into. And that's all I've got to say. The next bit of the video will be on settling in, I suppose. I didn't do what a lot of people might do. You've got to remember that Cambodia is 6,000 miles away from the UK. So the flight's not going to be cheap, and it's not going to be short either. So I went the whole hog. I followed the old adage of make your bed and lie in it. So I'm making my bed in Cambodia and I'm lying in it. And I'll cope with it. We cope with stuff. Flipping out, the Cambodians cope with it, didn't they? I'm sure I can. So that's all for now. Next bit will be how I manage my settling in. So that's all for now. Okay. Right. I'm going to title this part of the video, Settling In. From the comments I've received on most of my videos, the greatest two worries people have is, firstly, finding a place to stay when you get here, and secondly, how much money do they need to actually live here? Let's start with problem number one. I had the same worry when I moved here. So I did actually book 2 nights in a guest house through booking.com. It was dirt cheap. When I got here, I realised that 2 nights wasn't going to be long enough to find somewhere to live, or I wanted to have a look around and find my feet a bit first. So the guest house I was staying at, I just kept booking another 2 nights, $10 a night I think I was paying, which equates to about £8 at the time in November 2025. And that was in Siem Reap. Lovely little guest house. Beer was cheap, food was cheap, room was ground floor, no stairs to climb, etc. So it was a great little place to stay, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. After about a week of staying in that guest house, I went to IPS, International, or I think it's International Property Services, and found an apartment and probably overpaid a bit at $300 a month. Anyway, it didn't matter. It was well within my budget. So I didn't worry, and I had somewhere to stay. And it also meant that I could extend my passport, my visa, I could get a bank account, I could get a phone number, etc. All those things I needed to actually live here. And once you've got those things, you're basically free for 12 months. You've got to renew your visa every 12 months. I think if you come in with enough money or enough status behind you, you can actually get a 10-year visa, but that doesn't worry me. And that's what I did. Cambodia is not perfect by any means, but it does have certain advantages. And what I can actually promise you probably is that you will enjoy the lifestyle once you get rid of those westernised ideas and ideals. As long as you put those to one side and just look at the country as it is, as the Cambodians see it. I mean, they will live a different life than you. They will get charged different price. It doesn't matter. Only pennies in it anyway. But that's basically where it is. But I'm sure that the Cambodian way of life will astonish you. It's astonished me. And they're such laid-back people. And I suppose it's due to Western, to Cambodian Buddhist philosophy, I don't know. I just let them get on with it. They're not judgmental. I don't judge them, they don't judge me. That's fine by me. And the other thing is that the more I gave, the more I got. And I don't just mean money. I mean, the more I gave of myself. Even daft things like trying to learn a bit of the language and getting laughed at. But they see that as a bit of good fun, a bit of good charm. So I'm not really worried about that. So I wouldn't worry about settling in. If you're a tourist, you do the touristy things. You go to see Angkor Wat. I haven't been. It's not really my thing. But if it is, and if you come here on holiday, then yeah, of course you've got loads to see, loads to do. You get a 1-month visa for about $35 or something, so you're going to be fine. The trouble is the flight's going to cost you. And I think I explained in an earlier video that the flight costs can go through the roof or whatever. I think I paid £530 one way to Cambodia. That was from Manchester Airport to Siem Reap with a layover in Singapore. I did the Singapore route. And there wasn't any trouble with time at the time, but I just didn't want to chance it. And Singapore Changi Airport is allegedly one of the finest in the world. So I thought, well, I might as well have a look at that while I'm there. I had a big layover in there. I had a bit of a 6-hour layover or something, which was quite long. And the time flew. Wasn't cheap though, but the time flew. And everything went smoothly, touch wood, smoother than I thought. So there it is. So if you come over as a tourist, you do the touristy things. If you come over as an expat, then give yourself a bit of time to find your feet, see what's what. And if you can, talk to other expats, try and find sensible ones. Don't find drunk ones all the time. Don't find people who want you to buy them a drink. There are those people over there. There are those people in every country, I suppose. Anyway, I had no problem settling in. I think I booked 3 months in an apartment after my initial week or so in the guest house. And I was quite happy there. Got used to it, got used to the streets, got used to the layout, got used to the nice restaurants, the bad restaurants, the nice bars, the poor bars. You get used to it. The Khmer people themselves, you won't have any trouble with. It's the expats you may have trouble with. Anyway, that's by the by. They will give you advice. Why, I don't know. But there it is. So that's all I'm going to say on the subject. Okay. So, the next part of the video, I'm going to describe my day-to-day life. Bear in mind I'm living in Kampot now. It's a tiny bit cooler than Siem Reap. It's less touristy. I mean, tourism has dropped anyway because of the Thailand border, Cambodia war, etc. But I still think they're getting some tourists in anyway. Anyway, so my day-to-day life. So, we start in the morning. First thing I wake up in the morning is to is sunshine. Ever since I've been here, the sun has shone every single morning. I mean, every single bloody morning. When I arrived in November, I did see a tiny bit of rain for about 20 minutes in the afternoon on 1 or 2 days in November. Since then, I haven't seen a drop of rain. It has rained overnight occasionally. And when it rains, it properly rains. And the rain here is warm. I mean, even the showers are warm. You'll find that out for yourself. So basically, get up in the morning, whatever time it is, it doesn't really matter, does it? As I mentioned, I like to play either Radio 4 or Radio 2. We have 6 hours different, don't forget. Anyway, so do that. Put a sachet of my favourite coffee, which you can buy in supermarkets, either in Siem Reap or even in Kampot. Quick as you like. Check the comments on my YouTube videos, etc. And just watch the day unfold. I have a local restaurant, which you've probably seen if you watched other videos. Dirt cheap, I can eat. There's a mum and pop shop round the corner. Cheap as chips, so to speak. And that's my day. I can basically do what I want. I'm about probably a 3-minute walk. Depends how fast you walk, doesn't it? 3-minute walk to the local beach, which is a river beach. And it's not, it's nothing like, there is a video on it anyway. I think there were 2 actually. Anyway, but you can walk up there. You find the prices are a bit more expensive up there than they are further downtown. It doesn't really matter, does it? Come on, we're bringing over a load of money. We live like bloody kings. So that can be my day. One thing I haven't mentioned, and I don't think I've seen on any other videos, is doing laundry. When I was in Siem Reap, I had a washing machine where I used to do my laundry, which meant buying washing powder, filling the laundry and doing all sorts of things, hanging it out to dry, etc., etc. I don't do that here. There's a laundry which is about a 2-minute walk away from me, and it's $1 a kilo of dryness, dry washing. Don't charge you on the wet, charge you on the dry. I just took some today before I called into my local cafe and had a bite to eat. And I think I paid 6,000 real, which was $1.50, 4,000 real to $1. And I had a bag full of, half full of washing, enough to keep me going, a few t-shirts, socks, underpants, etc. And that was it, that was fine. That's my day-to-day life. I can do what I want. I've come back out to the cafe. I'm making this video now in the afternoon. It's about 4 o'clock now. I probably won't go out at night. The problem with going out at night in Cambodia is there's no street lighting. But having said that, most people walk in the road anyway. They don't use the pavements because the pavements, to be quite honest, are quite dangerous in places. So you're better off actually walking on the road. Keep your eye on the traffic. They'll keep their eye on you and you'll be all right. And that's all, as I say. So, bye for now. So, I'd made my decision. Bearing in mind where I was living on a narrowboat on a marina, to move to Cambodia. I did do quite a bit of research while the boat was up for sale. That's another story, but for another day. And eventually decided to move to Cambodia. Well, I could have chosen Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Bali. I could have chosen quite a lot of places, but I chose Cambodia. Anyway, was it right or wrong? As far as I'm concerned, I'm right. I have not regretted moving. I have not wished to return to the UK, which I consider broken. I don't want to be in a situation where in a few years' time I probably wouldn't be able to move 10 yards from my house. When I was there, I couldn't see a bloody doctor unless I phoned before 8 o'clock and it was bloody dark on the marina and I danger of falling over and hurting myself on the way to see the doctor, which I didn't need to see really, except that I couldn't get a driving licence without seeing him. And I didn't want a driving licence because I would have killed somebody, so there it is. So I decided that I would move to Cambodia. And as I explained earlier, I did it on a make your bed and lie in it basis. So I came on a one-way ticket. Have I regretted it? Not one bit. As I mentioned earlier, I wake up to the sun every single morning. In fact, I shouldn't do it, but I do pray for rain occasionally. You shouldn't do that. I know that in the UK you're fed up with rain. In the USA you're fed up with Donald Trump. I don't know. You tell me. Leave me a comment. Tell me. Anyway, as the longer you live here, the more you realise just what a beautiful philosophy they have. How they treat life, how they see life, how they see you, how they see me, how they see the West. It doesn't seem to be a topic of their conversation, not that we can understand any of it anyway. Before I left, I had quite a few naysayers, so-called friends on the marinas. No, they were friends, honestly, but they weren't authorised to give that comment. There were one or two that had been to Southeast Asia and visited. A lot said, well, it's unsafe. It isn't. It is safe. A lot said it's dirty. Well, it is a bit. A lot said, oh, you'll be back soon. You'll come back to the UK. I don't think I will. I haven't even thought about going back to the UK. I don't see why I should. There's nothing there for me. To me, the UK is broken. I can remember the days when politicians had other jobs. Local authority people had other jobs. Now they're all career politicians. That doesn't make any sense to me. Charles Dickens wouldn't have put up with it, I'll tell you that. And a lot of other people wouldn't have put up with it. Anyway, I'm of that certain age, so... Anyway, I decided to move, so that's it. And I've applied that old adage. I'm making my bed and I'm lying in it, and so far so good. It's laid back. I don't have to do a lot. It's a new experience. The people are lovely, the people are genuinely nice, the people seem honest. I can't fault it, and the weather is just out of this world. Well, you're freezing your bollocks off in winter in the UK. I'm living in 31 degrees heat here. All right, I'm going to use air conditioning. You won't find a fire in Cambodia. You won't find a bloody iron. People just wash and hang. I could wash what I'm wearing now in the sink with a bit of soap powder, hanging out to dry, but dry in an hour. I mean, you don't even bother about bringing washing because it's raining, because it doesn't. And if it does rain, it's predictable. I don't know. Anyway, so, no, I haven't thought about moving back. I'm loving it here. I should have done it 20 years ago when I could. But there it is. Better late than never. And that's how I'm going to say on the subject. Hello. Just an updated outro, really. I'm in Campot. It's filmed in the Campot apartment, boutique apartment, studio apartment, whatever you want to call it. It's from my room in I think it's called the Inthanu, which in Khmer translates to English as Rainbow Boutique Hotel. Anyway, we're up to about 540 subscribers. We've got to get to 1,000 before we make any money. And as I've said before, and any money I make off YouTube is going to go straight to kids of Cambodia to help with their education. They need it. I don't. I can't take it with me. I had a commenter suggesting that I go on coffee.com or whatever it is and buy me a coffee and all that. And then I just said, I don't really need the money. What am I going to do with the money? I mean, I could be reckless and spend what I've got in Cambodia. Why bother? I'd rather just give it to the Cambodian education system. Not on me, I don't need a motorbike. I can just go in a tuk-tuk. What the hell? Anyway, so if you want other people to see the video, just give it a like. It doesn't cost me anything. It doesn't cost you anything. If you want to be nice, you can subscribe when I get to 1,000 and start earning tiny bits of money. Never know your luck, do you? Anyway, and that's basically it. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll try and make as many as I can. But I'm in Campos at the moment. Sun's bloody shy. I'm seeing raindrops since bloody November. It does rain, but during the night, I think. Tiny bit cooler than Siem Reap. That's it. And bye for now. Thank you for watching.